everyone, welcome to today's video. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Joey and this is Burtoni Motors, my YouTube channel and social media presence of basically where I talk about cars, motorcycles, and anything that has my attention with a motor at that point. In today's video, we are going to be on board the Ducati Scrambler Nightshift. A few weeks ago, I recorded a video of the Nightshift where I was just out in front of the dealer. Just very quick, 13 things you need to know about this beautiful bike. And as of this morning, that video has almost 50,000 views. So you guys are really interested in this bike, and I thought I'd, try to get this bike and do a first ride for you. This is a true first ride. I basically have gone maybe 4 miles from the dealer to where I am now to start this video, and I just basically got to know the bike. And this is also the first time that I've ever ridden a motorcycle in the Ducati Scrambler lineup. I have a Ducati, I have a Panigale, but this is the first time in the Scrambler. So this 803cc lineup, this engine, I'm really excited. I think there's going to be a lot of fun that we're going to have on this bike. So once this introduction is done, there's going to be some sexy B-roll and some quick facts on what's going on with this bike, and then we're going to jump into the first ride. Basically I have this loop that I really like around Orchard Lake where I live in Michigan, and there's some turns, there's a little bit of speed, there's a little bit of opportunity to test the brakes, things like that. This bike only has about 8 or 9 miles on it right now, so I can't push it too hard until these tires kind of break the squeal away a little bit, get a little scuffed up. But hopefully by the end of this ride, we can see what this bike is capable of doing. If that sounds good, keep watching. And if you guys have made it this far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button. Let's saddle up, let's gear up, let's saddle up, and let's go for a ride. And I usually always do this vision from, my GoPro facing down. I want you guys to see like how I look on the bike, right? I'm about 5'10", 195 pounds, 210 on like a really bad weekend, but you guys have an understanding where I am. My inseam's about 31 inches, 30 to 31 inches. Very easy to get on this bike, right? I am truly flat-footed on both sides. Riding position is really upright, which is really nice for this sort of bike. Yeah.
All right, so grabbing the backpack, suiting up. Let's do a quick walk through this bike, right? So as you guys know, this bike is in the Ducati Scrambler lineup. So the Scrambler lineup was introduced by Ducati a few years ago, basically to try to acquire people who are into motorcycles but don't really have the money for a traditional Panigale or a Multistrada or a Monster. So these are the cheaper end motorcycles, but cheap doesn't mean bad in the Ducati world in my mind, right? There's a lot of great motorcycles in that like sub $12,000 range, and this just adds to them. This bike is kind of the combination of two bikes, right? They got rid of the Ducati Scrambler Cafe Racer, which is like they have a black and gold one, which my friend Lauren used to ride, and then a blue and silver version of that. And they also got rid of the flat tracker, right, which is the yellow and black one. That looked really good. It had like the two-tone yellow and black. Both of those bikes got rid of in this year, and this basic bike came in and kind of brought pieces together from both sides, right? So this section is actually straight off the flat tracker. What else? The spokes are off the flat tracker. The seat is new. The seat is stunning, right? Usually the old seat, it kind of was like lumpy. It kind of came down. And it's probably really comfortable for the passenger person, which there are pegs. But this bench seat looks really good. And actually, I saw someone take the bench seat off of this, and they put on a brown seat from the Cafe Racer, the blue and silver one, and threw it on there. And of course, it fits. And it looked stunning. Some of the other interesting features of this bike, right? This flat bar. This flat bar is really interesting because all the other Cafe bikes or the Scrambler bikes within the family have like riser bars, except for the Cafe, which is now gone. This is the first time I've seen a flat bar, and it looks great and it feels great. On top of that, it also has bar and mirrors, the spoked rims, little knobby tires which look good, dual Brembo or single Brembo up front, single in the back. I thought I had duals. Interesting. It looks like there might be an opportunity to. Oh, am I be able to add it? Oh no, definitely can't. Singles. Now you have LEDs on all sides. Boom, 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 boom. Exhaust comes on the right side because you have a single coil on the left side here, which has opportunity to adjust for weight, things like that. It does have passenger pegs, like I just said. And overall, like, it's a pretty good looking bike. I took some photos of it. I'll throw some up on the screen now. It comes off, it looks like it's more expensive than it really is. And it definitely, like, a few people who I've talked to say they really like the color on this bike, and I agree with them. This color is great. Some things that I might have changed, maybe black spokes, maybe do some like black canvas tape around the exhaust. But besides that, like, this is a good looking bike. Definitely one of the best looking bikes in the Ducati lineup right now. Not just the Scrambler lineup, but the Ducati lineup. Like, it's hard to argue that, like, this bike it's a great looking bike. I really enjoy it. That being said, let's jump on the bike real quick, and let's go through some things, right? Let's go through the seating position. Let's go through my riding experience on it. Let's go through, like, why you should buy this bike and, like, what you're looking for, and see if this bike is appropriate for you. All right, guys, let's jump on. Let's do that first exhaust note that everyone loves to hear, and then let's go for a little ride. So this bike. I think it's one of the best looking scramblers. I think it is the best looking scrambler, maybe outside of the Desert Sled within the Ducati Scrambler lineup. I think this, like, silvery slate gray, the matte, looks spectacular on this bike. I think it pairs very well with the flat bars, with the bar and mirrors, which is the first scrambler that come with these bar and mirrors and this flat bar. Overall, I think it's a great looking bike. I have never ridden a Ducati Scrambler, so what you guys are about to see is this is the true first impression of this bike. So far, this engine, so this is the 800, I think it's 803 cc. I'll make sure I'll splash that up on the screen right now. It's pretty fun. It likes to rev pretty high for the engine. There it goes. Come on, Corvettes. It likes to rev. It definitely, it seems like all the torque kind of really pops in about 4,000 to 5,000 RPM, and, like, I don't have the chart in front of me. That's just kind of what I feel right now on the bike. But I like the engine. I wish this bike had an Acro or Termi or something on the exhaust. While it's not bad sounding by any means, I just know Ducati, the engines make some beautiful sounds, especially this engine, right? This engine is seen across a lot of the variants, a lot of the bikes. I believe this is in the 821 Monster, or the old one, not the new one. I also believe that this engine is in the Hyper, the 950 SP, or like a variant of this engine is. Let's see. I was expecting this Corvette to go a little quicker. It's okay, because we're going to talk about this bike. Riding position, a little, basically at like a 90-degree angle, right? I'm a little more forward than I would be with this bike that had, like, the riser bars or something like that. But not aggressive at all. A very relaxed ride, very, like, I don't know if I want to make the comparison to it, but I when I look at this bike, and I was actually talking to a guy about this yesterday, who was at the Ducati dealer as well, as he saw that, and he came in riding a Harley. He was like, that looks like a Sportster 1200. And I was like, looking at it, I was like, no, just because it's like gray and black doesn't mean it's a Sportster. But then I'm like, wait a second, like, no, that kind of makes sense. Like, this bike is definitely designed to attract those Harley Sportster 883s and the 1200s away from Harley to Ducati, the family. And I think that's why they called it the Nightshade. I think this bike, while it would probably look pretty good in like a yellow or the Ducati or the Panigale red or something like that, I don't think that is the buyer market that they've identified for this motorcycle. And you know what? I think they hit the nail on the head with this bike. I think it's great looking. Going back to like riding it, it's pretty comfortable. It has the flat seat on it, which honestly is the best. As one of, well, I'm like hitting every single pothole that I can right now. I can't see them in front of the Corvette, so I'm gonna slow down a bit. Usually the Ducati Scramblers have that really large seat. It's almost too much. It's very bulbous. Wasn't a huge fan of it. And then this seat came out for this bike, and this is that like bench seat that mimics that of the Triumph, and it mimics that of, you know, like my Royal and things like that. And I think it's a great seat. Honestly, I think it's a great looking seat. It's a pretty hard seat now that I'm sitting on it right now, but like not uncomfortably hard. And it fits the bike so well. What else on this bike? I think with a lot of bikes right now, it seems like the cool thing to do is have the cluster off to the center, as you guys can see, because the center is where the ignition switch and all of that is. I'm learning to like it. I'm not learning to like it. I'm learning to live with it. I think this is a really nice one. It kind of has everything you really need. It has a gear indicator, which is nice. I don't have that on my Royal. Total miles up top. It's got speed. It's got the revs at the bottom. The revs at the bottom kind of get lost. Unfortunately, you can't really see them that well. I think just because it's got this black, shiny kind of like bevel to it, it's hard to kind of hard to see it. This is nice metal with a key, but like all of this is just like nicely made. The bike is just really well put together, right? We got braided steel cables, we got 90-degree angles, we have adjustable clutch, adjustable front brake. These mirrors are also really high quality and so much easier to adjust than other mirrors that I've got. I'll make sure I'm recording. Wait, am I? Oh yeah, I'm recording. I don't see the lights, so I got scared. But yeah, you can change settings. Oh, it's 89 degrees outside right now. We got a 36-mile range left, which is totally fine. How do I get out of this? Yeah, that works. One of these days we're going to turn left. I will say that the bike is a bit hot, but it's also, I'm in leathers, I'm in these like Kevlar Dainese pants, and I'm in full boots. It's a hot day. If it's 89 degrees air temperature right now on this bike, you know, I'm a hot dog. Definitely a hot dog. That is for sure. Hopefully we can get moving. So obviously that wasn't a 0 to 60 test, but it was it did show that this bike's got a little bit of pick-me-up. A lot of fun to ride this bike. Like over the last, say, 20 or so miles, I've enjoyed this. I think it's a great bike. Oh, okay, you don't want to wave? I can wave and I'm going around the corners. That's okay. There he goes. Oh, ghost shipped. So what is this bike for, right? This bike is one of the lower CC bikes that Ducati makes right now. So I think the Monster 697 is still in production. There is a Ducati Scrambler, I think it's called the 62, which has half the CCs as this bike. I think it's like 400 CCs, which is definitely an A2. So when you live in countries that have restricted bikes for learning permits and things like that, it's one of those kind of bikes. It's a learner's kind of bike, but I don't want you guys to think that it's only for beginners, right? This is, and I feel like I say this often, but like a bike is as good as the rider, no matter if it's the fastest bike in the world or the slowest bike in the world, right? A good rider can have fun on any motorcycle. I've had a lot of fun with this bike. I really have. between the riding position, between the peppiness of the engine, right? It's not the fastest engine out in the world, but like it's more than enough to make you smile, especially if you like run it a big gear low a bit and really get higher up into the RPMs, like basically starting at 5,000 RPM and kind of, you know, get up to like 65, 7,000 RPMs. Like this bike really comes to life, and if it had an exhaust on it, I bet it would sound even better. It really, like, bikes let you know when you're riding them properly by the sounds that they make. They really do. Ma'am, are you gonna go? You don't know. Say the upside down suspension is a great upgrade. Really nice with upside down forks on the front. The rear seat, the only seat is a bit rough. I think that just needs, the foam just needs to be broken in a little bit, kind of soften it on my tailbones. But the suspension is nice for the price that you get out of the bike. I think the brakes are nice. I am a bit shocked that there's only a single caliper on the front. But that being said, it feels like it might be bigger than the standard Scrambler or something like that, because like it brakes. It definitely, it grabs when you need it to grab, which is what you need it to do, right? And it doesn't feel, yeah, it doesn't want to like dip the front end or anything like that. It's just it's a confident, inspiring front brake. I think this bike is, it could be for a lot of people, right? If you want a traditional cafe racer, like with a bike that you wake up, you throw some jeans on, and you head off to the coffee shop for a few hours, have brunch, and come back, this bike can do it. If you want a bike that just looks good, there's no way that this bike cannot be on the top of your list. Like, right? If you want, like, I feel like this bike should be on the cover of GQ. It's one of those kind of bikes. It is really good looking. If you want a bike to, you know, go explore, you know, I don't know if I would ever put saddlebags on this bike, but I've seen people do it. Maybe some of those like canvas saddlebags, that would work just as fine. But like, it's a good ride. It's an easy ride. I would say that without a windshield, I wouldn't really take this bike on the highway. In general, I try to avoid the highway as much as possible, just because I don't find it to be very fun, no matter the motorcycle. Maybe I need to jump onto like a multi-strada or a desert sled, something larger, just to see how that goes. But it's highways aren't very fun. I don't want to be racing people at 85 miles an hour when they're always going to win in case something happens. But yeah, if you want like a commuter motorcycle, like, yeah, you can obviously commute on any sort of motorcycle that you desire, but like, there's something about this low seat height. Like, you know, you guys saw that I'm 5'10", 30-inch inseam. I was able to flat foot this bike, which is, I don't know many bikes that I can flat foot. I can flat foot on my Royal. I can't flat foot on my Ducati. I think it's one of the few bikes that if you're a smaller person, you should definitely look into. Not like a smaller person. I'm definitely not small by any means, but unless I'm definitely not small around the waistline, if you guys have seen me lately. Ayo, love a good self-deprecating joke, don't we all? I love people who stick their feet out of Wranglers. It's like it's a rite of passage. They're like, oh, doors off in the summer, you gotta take my foot off. It is quite warm. All right, let's see if we can figure out heat. 91 degrees outside. Oh, boys. It's a bit warms. But that guy just went for it. Zero patience. Could have just waited a few more seconds and he would have been fine. You know, this bike, it just likes to cruise in this like 50-mile-an-hour range, right? Yeah, I really like this riding position. It really is. It's a simple position. Back is very comfortable. Arms are resting just gently on the bars. You know, you don't feel stretched out at all. It's like the couch of the motorcycle world, I guess you could call it, the lazy boy, more or less. It's definitely not one of those, right? But like at that same time, like you're not disconnected from a little bit of performance, right? You feel light, you feel agile. The tank is really thin. It's really nice. It feels like, you know, you can plant your knees in there, you can grip the tank, and you can really push the bike where you want it to go. And that's, you know, that's definitely not with every bike I've ridden. And I'm assuming it's probably not the same with every bike you've ridden either. But I like that. I like that feeling. If you guys have followed me for a while, you know that I prefer smaller bikes, just because I feel like I can control them a little more. I feel like I'm riding the bike and the bike's not riding me, if that makes sense and doesn't sound sexual at all. I really hope it doesn't. Let's slowing down. I've not heard this bike burble yet. My friend Lauren had a Cafe Racer, so that this engine, the other version of this bike before it died off, and changed the exhaust on it, and it would shoot flames. So this engine is capable of shooting flames if you so desire to do so. Big fan of shooting flames with any sort of engine. I don't think it's dangerous. I just think it looks really gosh darn cool. Oh, I thought that was my friend. It's not. This person's turning. Doesn't understand how turn lanes work. What a fun bike this is. Honestly though, like, if you want a first bike and you've got some disposable income, and you know, I'm not going to say that Ducati is the cheapest first bike option out there. You know, I've done a few videos on great first bikes, and I try to exclude Ducatis for some various reasons, but this is a great first bike. It's not heavy. It's light on its feet, nimble, good seating position. You're not going to get in trouble with the power, but it's got enough power to get you out of any harm's way if need be. You know, if you need to jump off to the side of the road or something like that. It's good. It really is it's a nice bike. Ooh, I thought we were gonna get lucky and he was gonna turn in. I'm in the wrong gear. Yeah, that's definitely something with this bike. This bike does not like the lug. It almost seems like it wants to be a gear down, always. Shady Beach. Thank you, buddy. Oh, I'm gonna slowly hit that traffic real quick. But there's a cop. I got pointed at. Alright, so now that they're looking at me, I'm definitely gonna be told. I'm definitely gonna go a little slower. I'm gonna make sure. Yep. Well, that was fun. But what else? As we're going a little slower, just going to feel what the cornering is on this bike. You kind of get an idea of the cornering angle. Yeah. So I've been on this bike for basically broken this bike in. Wow, that is stunning. And I wanted to give you guys, ooh, should have seen this road. This is the first time I've been on this road. I don't know where it's gonna take me, but oh boys, is it fun. So much fun. Some poor quality roads, but some turns nonetheless. Wow. This bike so far, alright, as you guys know, and I've said it previously in the introduction, is that I did a 13 things you should know about this bike video, and I was shocked at how well it did. As of this morning, like when I checked, it had like 40 or 45,000 views, which is crazy because like it was only a few minutes long, and at that point I hadn't ridden the bike. Basically it was out in the dealer floor, and I was able to pull it out and take some wow, this is a good road. And just take some photos, take some videos, and just, you know, narrate like I would for like a new release video. And so many people asked me to get on this bike, and it actually caught the attention of everyone at Ducati Detroit, to the point where they were like, come take it. Like, we now have it. It's yours. Go ride it. Wow, there's a little castle thing going on. And I really, really appreciate it. But so far, this bike's been a lot of fun. I just got off the 1100, which is the Scrambler 1100, which is obviously the much bigger version of this, more torque, more power. It's also a much larger bike. And I don't know if I've said this enough, but like, not a huge fan of big bikes. I like the smaller bikes, the nimble bikes between my legs. And this bike does a great job of doing that. It just feels well connected so far. A little bit rambling right now because I'm just really enjoying this road. I don't know where it's gonna shoot me out, but I'm definitely gonna pull around and do it again, that's for sure. There's a little castle. It's absolutely stunning how many beautiful houses there are in the street. But what's this bike about, right? So this Nightshift. Nightshift. This Nightshift is basically a bargain bin motorcycle of, I'll take this a little slower, of multiple motorcycles that are now no longer in the Scrambler lineup, right? So the flat track, so like really cool yellow and black, and then the actual Scrambler Cafe Racer, which is like the blue and the silver, that look really good. Both those bikes, I think, are honestly some of the better looking bikes to come out of the Scrambler family of the last few years, and it's unfortunate that they were killed, because honestly, if I was looking for a Scrambler, those would be the bikes that I would buy, that's for sure. So yeah, like this has like the side panels off the flat tracker. It's got, what else? There's a whole bunch of things. It's got the wire spokes off the flat tracker, or the wire spokes off the Cafe Racer. It's still got the upside down forks. What's new is this bar, this flat bar, which honestly makes this bike look really good. I'm a real big fan of this flat bar. It's got side mirrors instead of top mirrors. Oh, I'm probably gonna get yelled at. Wait, is this a private road? Did I go down the wrong street? I went down the wrong road. No, I didn't. I'm right. Wow. Oh no, I definitely went down the wrong roads. So let's flip around and let's get back where we needs to be. Yeah, the flat bars make this bike very flickable. And when I say flickable, I mean like, it's just, it's a fun bike to ride. It really is. Talking about like seating position, now that I've ridden it for a little longer, there's definitely some harshness to the seat. It's thick. It's definitely thick. I feel like it just needs to get broken in a little bit right now. But besides that, let's see, foot pegs. I can easily engage that rear brake real easy. Shifting, super easy. It's in a good placement directly underneath your foot, kind of like, basically like where your foot would sit naturally on the left side. On the right side, it's a little farther in, but that seems to just be a Ducati thing. Same on my Panigale and same on the Scrambler 1100 that I just rode. Make sure you guys watch that video as well. You know, give it some likes and some comments and whatnot. It seems like they want you to position the left side of your heel kind of farther out, and your left side of your front toe kind of like pitched in like that. While your left foot is more straight and perpendicular to the engine casing, your right's kind of got to be like that. I wonder if they got spoken tos. Just so you can hit that rear brake. The front brake, is it a single? No, it's a double. It's a dual. It's Brembo reservoir, so I'm assuming it's Brembo calipers. I'll throw it up on the screen now if I'm wrong. But it's got more than enough. I'm gonna slow down, see how far we can get behind. It's got more than enough gripping power, that's for sure. Especially for such a lightweight bike. Lightweight, smaller sized bike. It's crazy to think like an 800cc bike, like it means so much to so many people depending on their riding experience, right? An 800 Harley is the smallest bike that they make, and it's poo-poo slow. But my Panigale is, 955cc. That's only 155 difference, but it's a different style of engine, so it really shows the difference, just of engineering of what people can extract in terms of power and torque out of an engine when they choose to, versus when they choose to focus more on reliability or smoother ride or whatever it may be. Do not pass. Okay, Gandalf, we shall do what you wished. Something that I don't know why, but I always like... What is behind me? You're an old Lincoln. Oh, I like to stand up every once in a while when I ride. Just stretch out them calves. Especially since this morning was leg day. Oh yeah. Kinda nice to sit farther back onto the seats. Ooh, very rare Range Rover Evoque Cabriolet. My By Blue? What track is that? I wonder if they actually took this car on the track. That would be very interesting. So as I'm making my way back to Ducati Detroit, I just want to give them a huge thank you once again for allowing me to have access to their demo bikes to make such great content for you guys. So I'm going to throw their handles up on the channel now. If you guys would do me a favor and go to their Instagram, follow them, like them, give them some comments, share some photos. It would really help them out, and help my friend Savannah out, who works for Ducati Detroit as their marketing guru, basically CMO. This has been a great experience. This has been a great bike. I really hope that, just some of my first thoughts, and I know they were a bit sporadic at times, but that's the value of these first impression rides, right? It's what's going through my brain in an unorganized way. It's what's catching my attention at any point. Wow, 2 cop cars. She must have been going real fast. And if you guys want more structured videos, I also do those with like the first impressions. There's usually in the same playlist, but it's usually around when new bikes are released, things like that. But I did one of those on this bike, like I said earlier in the video. It has like 45 or 50,000 views already, which is just stunning. I'm really excited about how well that did. And I'm hoping that you guys are going to like this video just as much as you like that video. If you have any questions or comments about this bike, throw them in the comments. Send me DMs on Instagram or on Facebook. I feel like a lot of you guys have been doing that lately, and I love it. If you guys have questions on what bike you should buy or what pipe you should buy or whatever it is, send them my way. I'm very excited to help, and I'm glad that you guys find me as a trusted resource for these questions. Let's see. And there we go, Ducati Detroit up on the left-hand side. Right there. Look how great it looks. So I'm going to pull in and I'm going to give them back their bike, and then I'm going to head home because I have to go celebrate LED. And some of you guys know LED. He's the owner of Project Racing. They make a bunch of cool custom parts and things like that for different motorcycles. It's his birthday. We're gonna go get some Indian food and go get some some drinks. But all right, guys, Ducati Detroit, here we are, front and center. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.